To everybody is I know that the Conservative line has been consistently to talk about our troops and to talk about the support for our troops, and I want to be crystal clear. We all support our troops. This is not about our troops. Our troops have behaved honorably, with dedication, with courage, and with integrity. And the conduct of our troops has never been a question for us. That is not what's at stake. It's about the conduct of the Cabinet. It's about what did the Prime Minister know, what did the Cabinet know, and what did they do with the information that they had. That's what it's about. And I think it's very important for us to be clear on that point, although I can assure you that when we go back into question period at 2 o'clock, that issue will be once again thrown around, but I think we all have to be very clear on that point.
Can I just add? Look, I mean, I think that I agree with my colleague on the 2 points he made. The third point that I want to make is that if you look at the timeline and look at all of the evidence that's swirling around the capital and across the country on this issue, this is no longer about Colvin. And this is no longer about just what he said. It's about what all of the international organizations were saying, what Red Cross was saying, Amnesty was saying, Human Rights Watch was saying, all of those issues. So this is now about whether or not this government ignored those warnings from 2006 to 2007, whether it was simple negligence or willful blindness or deliberate ignorance. Which is willful blindness of these issues that actually led to this uproar in Canada. And the point that I want to make is that I don't think it's going to be resolved by question period or by a parliamentary committee in the constrained circumstances that we meet in. It's eventually going to require a public inquiry for the sake of restoring Canada's reputation.
Well, as you know, I'm always somebody who prefers to understate things. I just think it's important for us to recognize that all political parties support our troops, that we're all equally patriotic, that we all have a long history of defending the interests of the country and of defending the interests of our soldiers, and that to argue that some are stronger supporters of our soldiers than others, I think is frankly reprehensible. And I would think that on an issue like this, the Prime Minister would be wanting to bring people together. Parliament came together in support of a resolution. It took a lot of work and compromise to get us there. The Prime Minister supported the resolution. That's the resolution that takes our troops to where they need to be. It takes our activities in Afghanistan to where it is today. We think there's a change coming in 2011, which we think is necessary. But I just think it's to play that card the way he has played it is, I think, grossly unfair. And to suggest that in any question that's been posed in the House of Commons or in any comment that's been made that somehow this is about the conduct of our troops is just completely false. And I think everyone in Canada should understand it. I think our troops should understand it. We are all concerned about the success of our endeavors in Afghanistan. We all recognize the sacrifices that are being made every day. And I think to label what we're doing somehow as somehow unpatriotic is frankly, beyond the pale, I think.
What do you think about the fact that he is playing this card with the Navy, for example? Well, there's no doubt that he's playing cards. That's what politics are. But we're going to state very clearly that this has nothing to do with the whole issue as who likes the country, who likes the armed forces more. It's much more to do with how did the government act, how politically did this government react to information. And I think that it's very important for us to vigorously answer to that by saying that we're fighting for the effort made and everything our troops are doing. And for the Prime Minister to suggest that there are two kinds of Canadians, those who support the military and those who don't, that's not the case. That's not fair.
Said about what he said yesterday, was it the message or the place he delivered it with soldiers as a backdrop? What was wrong with what he did yesterday?
I wouldn't describe myself in my demeanor as being upset. I just think it's wrong to suggest.
Mr. Ignatieff condemning it.
Well, can I...
Go ahead.
I think that you don't have to repeat.
No, go.
I think that the fact that the Prime Minister of the country continues to use our patriotic troops who are dying for us on the ground in Afghanistan as a wedge issue in partisan terms, and he can't resist himself even when he's abroad at a Commonwealth summit, it's absolutely reprehensible. I just think that that's what's upsetting. It's not that somehow I'm going to be hurt by criticisms that he makes. I've seen terrorism firsthand. I've seen extremism firsthand. For them to stand up in the House day after day to call us Taliban dupes because we are asking the most legitimate questions that need to be asked. I can show you scars on my head and my hand for the terrorism that I knew firsthand. So, that's why the Prime Minister would be well advised to actually take it to a higher level, take it to a non-partisan level, and actually think about how much damage he has done to Canada's reputation by refusing to agree to a public inquiry.
It really seems to have you guys on the defensive. Here you are out here sort of saying we support our troops. You have to do that. Are you getting a lot of feedback from across the country that is negative?
I can tell you the kind of feedbacks I'm getting. I'm in Toronto Airport or Vancouver Airport or walking the streets in Vancouver. People come up and shake my hand and say, stand up for Canada, stand up for our troops, and stand up for our values. You're doing a great job. That's the kind of message we're getting from Canadians from coast to coast to coast.
Now, you say that it's not during question period that you're going to be getting answers, nor in the parliamentary committee. You want a public inquiry, and the government refuses it. What you have is an option. Well, continue to speak about the difficulties we have with information that is non-existent. The fact is, we haven't seen one answer, quite frankly, to the fact that there is a deep contradiction between the minister's statement, yes, there were problems in 2006, and then we reacted in 2007. Well, the simple question is, really, did it take a year and a half to react to such an issue? Or is it not necessary for us to put the question as to why it took so long before the government, really reacted? And in deciding what you did at the middle of 2007. I think that's the issue, and we have to continue to ask questions.
Last week testified that the treatment of detainees is one of 3 strategic concerns for the military. Can you connect the dots why that strategic concern should allow, or between the opposition asking questions in Parliament, how does that link to that strategic concern? Because it seems to be it's being played that you are somehow undermining the troops, when the troops, the military brass itself was concerned about the detainee question at a strategic level.
First of all, I was, if you compare what General Gauthier had to say with saying, for example, that we should have full access to the information, I never heard a hint from General Gauthier that the questions that were being asked in the committee or anywhere else were unfair or were inappropriate, and I have no difficulty saying that I have the highest regard for General Gauthier. I always have, and for all those who serve in the military and for all of our generals. I think it should be possible for us in this country to have a national discussion about what's taken place as a result of a variety of allegations being made public without descending into the the last refuge of scoundrels. I think we ought to be able to just to talk through these issues in a serious way. And I think it is important to stress that the question of how you treat prisoners is a critical question for the success of our mission. We are in Afghanistan because we believe in democracy, we believe in human rights, we believe in diversity, we believe in reconciliation. We don't believe in corruption. We don't believe in torture. We don't believe in these things as a country. And it's very important for us to carry on with a real discussion and saying, well, did we live up to those standards? Did we, throughout the peace, did our government lead us in a way that we want to be led? And I don't think that's an illegitimate question. I think it's a perfectly rational question and a serious question.
In what way will